Bulls Nation, look, today I'm just going to go off the cuff. I'm just going to speak my mind and speak honestly about this game. The structure of this entire video is going to go completely off. I'm not going to mention no player of the games. I'm not going to mention no must improves. I'm just going to talk openly about this game because at the end of the day, this game has pissed me off more than I think any game could this season. And again, we always speak about how the Chicago Bulls, we are very competitive in all of our games, and there's always a way to lose. In losing, at the end of the day, sometimes you can accept losing, but it's the way that you lose that makes you accept it or absolutely furious with the way that your team plays. And today's game, 106-99 by the Chicago Bulls, falling 23-point lead once again given away by the Chicago Bulls within the second half, and we lose that game. We absolutely choked that game, the choke artist that we can be. Nearly every game we give up leads. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm frustrated, I'm flustered. I just can't believe how this team has no real effort to actually fight when they're being demolished by the San Antonio Spurs in the second half. Are you mean to tell me that one full court press and trap is what set the Bulls to lose that game? When they had 23 points up, one trap, that's all they did. That's all. The only thing they changed was they trapped the Bulls and they full court pressed them. And that's how we lose that game. We lose that game 23 points up to a press. I can't believe what the Chicago Bulls have done today. I don't care if it's a back-to-back. I don't care if the Bulls are tired. At the end of the day, if the Bulls were tired, then why even bother playing this game in the first place? Why go up by 23 points if you're tired? You showed in that fourth quarter no ball movement. You showed in that third quarter no ball movement. You showed in the fourth quarter that you could turn the ball over as much as any other team in the world. How do you go from 9 turnovers in 3 quarters to having the worst fourth quarter I've seen for the Chicago Bulls? How do you go most of that fourth quarter only scoring 9 points? This team has so much to work on. This team needs so much more to be better than what it is. I understand where our record is. I understand that the season's not over. I understand that we're very, very close to 500. I get all those points and I understand them. But games like this, with no DeMar DeRozan, with no LaMarcus Aldridge, a game where the Chicago Bulls had this game in their bag, had this game under their belts, and they give it up within a blink of an eye. It's almost like if you went to the toilet, right? You took a piss, you came back, Bulls were down. That's basically how I felt in that second half. It was so easy, so quick for the Spurs to come back so easily for them. And it shows. They took a near 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They were down by 23 points and they took a lead. I just can't believe it. The Chicago Bulls, we need a backbone. We need someone that's actually going to take this personally. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the Bulls just giving away leads, turning the ball over. We're a good team. We are a good team. But good teams do not do this in consecutive nights. I believe us and the Phoenix Suns are the only teams to have a 20-point lead, multiple occasions, and blow it in the final half. It's ridiculous. When are we going to learn from this? This game is exactly what the OKC Thunder game was. The first time we versed them, we were up by 25 points that game. Everything was crystal clear. The Bulls were dominating. We were going to win that game. We were going to strive to go and get another victory, and we were going to go and head into our next game with a bunch of confidence in abundance. And then in that second half, we turned the ball over at a disgraceful level. We played defense at a disgraceful level, and we gave up that game within a blink of an eye. This was the exact same game. This was basically a mirrored version of that game, except I think maybe the Spurs probably did it better than what the OKC Thunder did. I'm surprised that if we don't see a trap by the Denver Nuggets or the Detroit Pistons or whatever team that we have coming up next, I'm surprised that if we're not going to see a full court pressure and a trap by other teams, because that's clearly how to beat us. That's clearly the easiest way to beat the Chicago Bulls, because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle the pressure. They play so fast when they do that. They're forcing themselves into shots that they shouldn't be taking. And in the end, after that, they're so tired by playing so fast, they can't play defense anymore. They can't move anymore. They're all exhausted. At the end of the day, I have to say, well done to the Spurs for doing that. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm pissed by this team. I'm pissed by the Chicago Bulls. But the credit has to go to the Spurs for doing that, for making us work like that, and in the end, making us choke the way that we did. At the end of the day, that's his full credit to Greg Popovich and the Spurs for being what they are, a good team, regardless of how many players they're missing, regardless of who's on their team. Their structure in itself is what makes them win games. So fair play to the Spurs, but the Chicago Bulls should have not lost this game. And the fact that they lost this game, and they've done this multiple times now, is an absolute disgrace in my opinion. This team, with all the positives that we've seen, with all the potential that it has, with the young upcoming players and with the veterans that we have, all of them from the start to the bottom have to feel ashamed with how they played, especially in that second half. It's unacceptable. It is unacceptable to play a half like that. I'm not in the NBA. How I could not play anywhere near the level these guys play at. This is a professional basketball team. This is a basketball team that's 18-21, that is very close to 500, that had the lead in the first half and most of that second half, and you've given it away. That's a professional basketball team. This team needs to kick up the backside. This team needs a backbone. This team needs some pride, because at the moment, we've seen 3 really bad losses since the second half of the season has begun. We saw 2 very good wins against the Raptors with very little players, and teams against the OKC Thunder with very little players. And I said at that time, it's a great win to have, but the level of these teams are not what they are because of the players that they're missing. But you take advantage of those games because that's what's put in front of you. This team was a weakened Spurs team put in front of us. Just like Philly, just like Miami. One of their best players out for that game. And honestly, I heard what happened with DeMar DeRozan, and I feel very sorry for him, and I hope him and his family are well. And hopefully he can recover from this mentally and physically. But besides that, he was not playing today. LaMarcus Aldridge, someone that's parting way with the Spurs entirely, who's had a pretty bad season, to be honest, not playing today. And the Spurs still managed to absolutely decimate us with a full court press. That's basically it. It's a full court press. That's all they did. They pressured the ball. Kobe White, not a great dribbler. Satoransky, not a great dribbler. Zach LaVine, probably the best one that we have. He's not a point guard. And they turned us over and they put us on our ass pretty much the entirety of that second half. I'm just lost for words. I'm ranting. I don't know what to say. I don't see the point in having a structured video of, yeah, this is the player of the game. This is the must-improve player. Yeah, let's look at the box score. Because I don't feel like doing that. This is not a reaction where I feel like I need to talk about the box score. This is not a reaction where I feel like I need to target everybody out. From the start to the bottom, this team must feel ashamed. They must feel ashamed of what they've done. What has happened once again. We've let this happen again. First time around, you could say, yeah, at the end of the day, it's terrible. It sucks that we saw that. It sucks that we saw our team give up a lead, but it's only one game. In the end, we might not ever see this again, and then we've gone and done it again. So yes, I am frustrated. I'm pissed off, and I'm not afraid to show that I'm frustrated or pissed off. I'm not going to hide behind our record and how we're still 9th in the East and how we still have a chance to play in tournament. All of that will come in time. I don't care about that right now. What I care about is this team giving you so much positives in the first half, how it switches in a blink of an eye to becoming a very worse than the last seeded teams. That performance in the second half, I don't see Detroit Pistons doing that in consecutive bases. Again, only the Bulls and the Phoenix Suns. At least the Phoenix Suns are positive in their standings. At least those two teams are the only ones that have done it consecutively this year. So yes, I am frustrated. This team needs to do so much more. You can't go from an amazing first half to a second half like that. How could they seriously? If any Bulls player think that's acceptable, or they move, it's a loss and they don't really feel much about it, or go to Denver. That game against Denver, they need a backbone. They need to fight every single quarter in that game. Otherwise, this is an absolute disaster, in my opinion, what has been happening for this game. An absolute disaster. Something that should never, ever, ever happen again. But we know this team can flip on a dime. This has been proven now. This team can switch from An all-star team, a team that could be easily in the top 4 if we won all of our games, to a team that could be finishing in the last seed if they played the way they played in the second half all season. We've just shown that consecutively now that we can be that team depending on the play, depending on the minute of the game, depending on the quarter of the game. We could be 2 different teams. And it's absolutely frustrating. And again, I know that we're young, but we have veterans. We have Thaddeus Young in this team. We have Sadaransky in this team. We have Otto Porter in this team. We have Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is not a young player. Zach LaVine is a veteran on this team. We have these players, and yet still we couldn't control this game at all. And this Spurs team was probably the youngest Spurs team I've seen in a long time without DeMar DeRozan. And still, they decided to turn us over. So there needs to be some pride in that next game. And again, I've already talked about it in retrospect to the game against the Sixers and the game against the Heat. We needed pride to bounce back from that. We need pride to bounce back from this. I'm not going to accept this performance as a good performance by the Bulls. I don't care how good their first half was. Their second half was poor. So I'm not going to accept that as a good game or an unlucky loss. At the end of the day, we deserved everything we got in this game. And that fourth quarter and third quarter was a joke to watch. And I feel sorry for every Bulls fan that actually turned on their television or actually paid to watch this game to see the Bulls fall like that. At the end of the day, think of the fans. Think of how the fans should be feeling about this. Think about how I'm feeling. I'm a fan. Think about how other fans are feeling. There are many people that don't talk about the Chicago Bulls on YouTube. Many people that don't comment on Bulls videos that watch these and feel the way that we feel. Feel the frustration of a loss like this. And I feel sorry for them. And I feel sorry for everybody that watched this game if you're a Chicago Bulls fan. Because at the end of the day, this is something that shouldn't be accepted. This is something that we shouldn't feel proud of. I don't care if we're 18 and 21 right now. I don't care. We should not be proud of that performance. And there's no positives to take out of that. Congratulations, we had a 23-point lead. Look what that got us. Look at the end result. 23-point lead means nothing to me if you can't seal the deal at the end of the day. It's like the Warriors with 73 wins. If you don't win the championship, doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter how many wins you get. If you're a championship team breaking the record for all-time wins, you don't have a ring. At the end of the day, that's how I feel. I don't care if I have a 23-point lead if I lose the game. It just makes it 10 times worse. It makes it 10 times harder to accept. And yes, we may have played well in that first half, but it doesn't mean anything towards that game. I'd rather lose with this game being closer than it should have ever been. I'd rather lose if the Bulls were 105 to 106 and it was a back and forth game the entire time, because at least I could say that the Bulls fought in this game. In that second half, I saw no fight. In that second half, I saw a team that was stagnant. I saw a team that was standing still. All those turnovers that we had, Zach LaVine's turnover in the fourth quarter, Sadaransky's turnover in the fourth quarter, Larry Markkanen's turnover in the fourth quarter, all of them is because no one wanted to move on offense. They decided we're gonna allow this to happen. We're gonna stand still. We're not gonna do everything that we've been doing for 2 quarters now, even a little bit of that third quarter. We're not gonna move the ball. We're gonna stand still and we're gonna give it to Zach LaVine. We're gonna make him shoot threes and we're gonna accept whatever happens. That is not a basketball team. That is not a team. That's not a team game. And unfortunately for Zach LaVine, he just got the brunt end of what I've been saying. But at the end of the day, that's basically what happened. In that fourth quarter, we gave it to Zach LaVine and we just said, let's see what happens. No one else did anything. So this team needs to look into this. This team needs to look into this. If it's a trade that's needed, I don't care at this point. If we're going to go for a trade, go for a trade. If we're not going for a trade, don't go for a trade. I don't care. But if you're going to tell me that performance is acceptable by any of these players, then I'm sorry, I can't agree with you and I won't agree with you. This team, from the back to the front, from Zach LaVine to Ryan Arcidiacono, has to take responsibility for this game and just truly realize how bad they let the fans down, how bad they let themselves down, how bad their reputation must be after a loss like this, and most importantly, just how frustrating it is to watch your team go down by so much when they were up by so much. I can't accept that as a good performance, and I won't accept that as a good performance. If you want me to make consistent videos about the Bulls, you want me to talk about the wins and the losses of this team, you like the structured videos, you like the ones where I talk about the box score and I talk about how good some players played and how good other players didn't play, the must improves, the records and the next games. If you want me to keep on doing that, then the least you could do the least this team could do is at least fight. It's at least show some sort of effort in that second half. I haven't questioned this team's effort since the Atlanta Hawks game, the very first game of the season. I'm questioning their effort today. I don't care about no back-to-back. Every team has to go through back-to-backs. The fact of the matter is, we let that second half go because we did not have any effort to try and keep it. We were stagnant. We decided it's my turn to score. I'm going to shoot a 3. I don't care contested or not. I'm not going to move the ball. I'm not going to play a team game. We're up by 23. Let's play ISO ball. Let's play hero ball. That's not a team game. And that will never be a team game. And that's why Greg Popovich has been in the league so long, because they know, Greg Popovich knows it's not hero ball that gets your wins, especially for a team like the Spurs and a team like the Bulls, the way that we should be. That's not how you get wins. You don't play no hero ball to get your wins. So I hope this is a big lesson that the Bulls have learned. And I hope that they learn from their OKC game in the first time. But obviously they haven't, because they still let the same thing happen to them. I hope they learn from this. And the next game, I believe it's the Denver Nuggets. I want to see fight. I want to see all 4 quarters of intensity. I don't want to see no stagnant basketball. And again, we've left it to a very tough team to go and do that against. But that's all I could say. Just go and do it. Go and do it. Go and perform. Win or lose. At least show that you care and show the effort required to go and win a game. Because you didn't do that today. I'm sorry, you didn't. And I'm not gonna pretend that I'm happy or I'm satisfied. Sometimes I like to keep my cool in terms of videos, but this, not one of those times. The Bulls have to do better. I'm not hiding from that. Go and do better. I don't even know if I'm going to edit this video at this point, but thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'm not talking about no individual performers. I'm not talking about no player of the game, because this team doesn't deserve that. This team doesn't deserve that recognition of going to get a player of the game award or going to get a must improve. The whole team must improve. There's no player of the game. Bulls need to do better than that. Take care and peace.